So we've got a book that, so let me ask you this question. Promotion, does it start before the book is published or after the book is actually physically published?
We start as soon as the book is published, and we focus on initially the digital version. So we're creating both digital ebook as well as the physical version of the book, which anybody that's listening that is interested in doing it, you need both. You don't want to just create a digital version. You don't want to just create a paperback version. You need both. So as soon as it goes live, primarily we use Amazon as our platform. As soon as it goes live, we're cranking, and we have a process that we take every client through.
Epic, epic. And for those people who want to promote on their own, let's say, they may want to do some promotion on their own. What would be one hint or tip or trick you could give them to promote their book? Or let's say, let me put it another way real quick. We have a lot of authors who are probably listening. They probably have already created their books, and maybe their books aren't selling that well. And maybe they just never did a great promotional campaign. Can you give them one tip or trick that would really help them and at least see if they can resurrect an old book?
Well, they can, first of all, no question about it. I don't know that I can give one tip or trick. I would share that it's a process, and that the initial process, if you go to a traditional publisher and you don't have a platform, they're not interested in you, right? They're not going to give you a dollar for the rights to your book because they know you don't have a platform. I built my platform from my book, so it's possible to totally switch traditional publishing on its head and use your book to build your platform. However, if you just publish your book and then cross your fingers, if I build it, they will come, then you're going to get exactly what everyone else gets. That's nothing. A few family members will buy it, and maybe you get lucky and make a few sales here and there, but so what you need is a process, and you need to put your book, if you want one tip, I'd say you need to put your book in front of your ideal client, and you're going to do that through paid advertising. You're going to do that through social media. We do it through press releases. My authors come to me primarily because they don't have an audience, a big audience. Some do, but they come to me because they want help in building that platform and making sure the book is going to be exceptional. So, the only way we can do that is by putting the book with its great hook, title, subtitle, and content in front of their ideal audience that they don't have currently in their own email database, etc. And we do that through paid advertising, social media, press releases, and the like. And anybody can do that. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, epic. So you mentioned about that, because when I mentioned old book that maybe they could resurrect. Let's talk a little more about promotion here. And if an author came to you with a book that they had that was just languishing, they had written a book, they felt the content was good and everything, but it was just languishing. First, is that a client you would even take on for that particular book?
Oh, absolutely. If it's of good quality and and relevant, then 100%. We do it all the time. We might make recommendations. We might say, let's change the cover, let's change the title. Can you add a chapter or two? We may just take it as it is because it's good. It just is average from a marketing perspective. I mean, I have clients. I was just doing a webinar. I have a client that launched his book. Very good quality book, very well written, small niche, agile consulting, which I didn't even know what that was when I launched it a year and a half ago. He worked with Fortune 500 manufacturing firms, and he launched it, didn't do anything, and he came to us and he said, can you help us? We went through it. The book is great. So we launched it. It became a bestseller. In the first 2 weeks of the launch of his book, he picked up a new consulting client from the book launch, paid him $80,000. He's got numerous speaking engagements, massive, hundreds of thousands of dollars in new clients. And Morgan James just came to him and said, because your first book was so successful, little do they know why, because he tried to launch it on his own, didn't do anything. they gave him a high 5-figure book advance for his next book, which I hope it does well. If it doesn't, he can come back to us. But the point being is we didn't change his book at all. We didn't change his cover at all. We just marketed it to his ideal client because it was already good. And even though it floundered initially, it succeeded massively because it was marketed well.
Epic. So and I think that's a great point to start winding down the publish. You've got to get to the profit. And I keep mentioning it because people I know want to figure out how
that's
they can.
That's the promote phase, so we're almost there.
Yeah, exactly. We're almost there. We're almost there, man. We're coming around the fourth turn, and we're getting there. We're either Pocono or Homestead, but anyway, that's besides the point. But no, I mean it's interesting, and what I really want the viewers, and especially the authors who are watching us, to take to heart is the fact that if your book is languishing and it isn't on the top, it has never hit the top of the bestseller list, it might not be you, it might be your marketing. And I think that's a much more comfortable place to be than thinking it's all me. Because Rob, you work with a lot of authors. I mean, I think authors a lot. Do you find that authors get very self-conscious when their book isn't promoting and always think it's the book, or do they ever realize it wasn't it was the marketing and that they didn't do the promotion phase right?
It's both. They feel both. I almost always think it's the marketing. I mean, the example that I give people, because I come from kind of the real estate and financial services market, is, and I've done tons of financial services books for clients, and almost any financial service person that you ever meet that is decent thinks they're better than someone like Susie Orman. They think Susie Orman's advice is basic, it's simplistic, it's silly. And yet Susie Orman is worth $40 million. And Susie Orman is the face of, financial questions for half of America. Why is that? Because she's so much smarter or more of a financial expert? No, she's a great marketer. She's awesome. I mean, everything, and by the way, it was her book that launched her to her career. Her second book, not her first, became a bestseller. And so, it's very rarely the content. It's almost always the marketing. That's the problem. And when you can get that down, it's magic.
Exactly. And that's when we get to profit. And then we start to profit.
That's
so
right.
Everybody knows what profit is, and everybody wants more profit. In your system here, when we're talking profit, what do you really mean when we're talking profit here?
To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now, you'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.